But how do I edit? There we go. Okay, I think we're good to go. Welcome in. I have been wanting to play this game for quite some time. I saw Gab start to play it on her channel, and I had to stop because I knew that this was like right up my alley. So let's get into it. December 6, 1998.
The plane that crashed last night just outside of Pittsburgh is now known to have been the private jet of the Roottrees Corporation. Local aviation authorities have speculated, based on the pilot's final communication, that the winter storm and heavy winds played a significant role in the crash. On board were multiple family members, including corporate president Carl Roottrees and his daughters, the Roottrees sisters, best known for their fashion lines and modeling careers. There were no survivors. Again, for those of you just joining us, the Roottrees are dead.
The Roottrees are dead. Yeah, I feel like something's wrong.
I know it's late, but I'm guessing you've seen the news. In addition to dealing with the grief, the Roottrees company...
Let's try this again. Exit. try compatibility. Alright. New game. They're dead. Save over. Delete the save. Because that was weird. December 6th, 1998.
The plane that crashed last night just outside of Pittsburgh is now known to have been the private jet of the Roottrees Corporation. Local aviation authorities have speculated, based on the pilot's final communication, that the winter storm and heavy winds played a significant role in the crash. On board were multiple family members, including corporate president Carl Roottrees and his daughters, the Roottrees sisters, best known for their fashion lines and modeling careers. There were no survivors. Again, for those of you just joining us, the Roottrees are dead.
Okay, yeah, we've fixed this.
I know it's late, but I'm guessing you've seen the news. In addition to dealing with the grief, the Roottrees company's lawyers are scrambling. Everything's about to change. Anyone proven to be a blood relative is about to get much richer. I'm here to ensure everyone is accounted for. I've heard you're an expert at sorting out complicated family trees. A genealogy genie, as it were. I'm going to give you a quick test. Pass, and I can promise you the job of a lifetime.
Yeah, let's do it. Complete the family tree of the Roottrees sisters. Oh, that's too fast. Alright, examine evidence. God milk. This was taken during the shoot for the Roottrees sisters' God Milk ad. I've tracked down a test photo from before they painted the fake mustaches on, which I thought would be more appropriate considering the circumstances. The ad's copy read, "You might recognize our faces from the magazine you're reading, or you might recognize our name from the candy bar you're eating. Being a Roottrees is a full-time job, but so is growing up. That's why the calcium found in milk is so important. Plus, you can't make chocolate without it." Ha 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 ha. Oh, a lot of names. Okay. A lot of names. Okay. New cashew PC. Wow, 56K modem. Print it with a printer. Burn music to a CD. Netscape Explorer's history feature. God, I miss dial-up. I love that sound. I also miss the of a text message coming through on your speakers. Sisters? There There are a lot of obituaries that focus on the Roottrees sisters' modeling career, so you also come across an unofficial Roottrees fan site seemingly curated by a teenager. It's neon pink with purple text and hard to read until you highlight the words. Young Wybreaster writes, Raina is the most famous because she's the oldest and got married to TMS, but Riley is the smart one. Rose is a middle child like me. Okay, so Raina, Rose, and Riley. You might think they are rich just because they are models, but their dad is also the president of the candy company, and their mom, Brenda, is a fashion designer. They are models, dad is president, mom, Brenda, is a fashion designer. I eat Roottrees candy all the time. My favorite are maple crisps, and I try to dress in plaid root clothes like Riley does in most of the posters. Someday I want to get my ears pierced like Rose. The website author continues to talk about her own life and what she likes about root fashion lines, but none of it is relevant. Okay. My notes. Oh, I see. So I'll put this copy in. Okay. So Raina, Rose, Riley. Raina, Rose. Oh, yeah. Riley. Riley. And they're all models. TMS. Probably Thomas Sheridan, if I were a gambling man. Okay. TMS. Tommy Mark Sheridan. Time marches onward. He skyrocketed to popularity after his starring role on the sitcom The Weather Trouble. For supposed drug use, they married in 1997 when he was 23. Okay. What's his dumb name? Tommy Sheridan. Okay. There we go. Rose Roottrees is not as popular as her older sister Raina, but still very well known. Most of the time, they're lumped together as the Roottrees sisters. Unfortunately, the results for Rose by herself don't lead to anything different than when we were searching for sisters together. Someone isn't on the list of names. Doing a deeper dive on what you can learn about them will often lead to additional discoveries. Make note of any brand names, books, product lines, or magazines. Okay, and what was the third one? Riley. Oops. Okay. Root. Root, the period is part of the name, is a clothing company. They make clothes for children, from toddlers to teenagers. Although their website is down, you find countless retail sites attempting to advertise their clothes. You've spied the Roottrees sisters looking hella fly in catalogs, magazines, and posters. Now you two can be like Riley, Rose, or Raina. You also come across our website from a collector of clothing catalogs. Apparently, Root was released 2 catalogs per year every year since '84, and Raina appeared on almost all of them. There's only one that the webmaster considers a collector's item, though. Seems that Brenda Roottree, the mother and head designer, appeared on one cover holding the daughter Rose in '85. The site says this was the only time her daughter was ever listed with her birth name, Carly Roottrie. Carly Roottrie. Well, one of them is wearing plaid. This one has an engagement ring. Yeah. So this one's the married one. What's the kid's website again? Roottrees sisters. Plaid like Riley. And then the married one is in the blue, which means this is this. Booyah.
Sorry to test you, but I had to be sure you could use the internet. Some folks refuse to get with the times. Safe to say, you're hired.
Yeah.
The reward for untangling the family tree is substantial. Life-changing, even. But here's the catch. The Roottrees go way, way back. The family tree's a bit daunting. Most people freak out the first time they see the whole thing. But I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, probably.
The man who started it was particular about whom he considered family. For your purposes, you only need his direct blood relatives. Anyone related only by marriage is optional. but filling them in can lead to useful discoveries. Lastly, you now have access to some unique websites, plus a list of notable Roottrees. Notable people are easy to find via your search engine, and marked with stars on the family tree. I'm off for now. Carl Roottree had a lot in his office. I'll look for anything useful. I'll return once you identify 6 more blood relatives.
Okay. I can do 6. Oh. One more thing.
Sorry, one last thing.
All right,
This
Columbo.
might sound odd, but if anyone else claiming to represent the Roottrees reaches out, I'd appreciate you not mentioning I was here. Thank you, and good luck.
Okay. It's a lot of stars. Gwyneth. Every time you get 3 additional blood relatives in the family tree completely correct, name, occupation, portrait, they will be locked in. All non-blood relatives and small portraits are optional, but placing them in the tree helps remove extra names. 3 more blood relatives. Okay. Oh, I see. And what, Gwyneth? Okay. Yeah, let's work on that. Brenda. Oh, let's see. Okay, notable Roottrees. The sisters, Carl, Elias and Gwyneth, Gwyn, Red, Jim, Lauren, and Miracle Jr. Okay. Okay, let's do Carl then, I guess. We'll start there. 5 pieces in. This is an advertisement for 5 pieces aimed at kids from the magazine Teen Blast. It mentions that the 5 pieces were named as such because the original creator had 5 children. Okay. The ad also mentions that the current 5 flavors are not the same as, quote, back then. Oh, okay. At the start of your search, the notables list sets off alarm bells, a list of famous people that you can find via search engine. It's pretty rare to get something that useful. Best take advantage of it. As you progress, these numbers will change. Whenever you find more evidence or lock in family members, new discoveries will be added to the list, and old evidence will become less useful. Trust your intuition. If a piece of evidence seems too good to be true, take a closer look at the people or phrases it mentions. Often the most satisfying revelations come from retracing a path you thought was fully explored, armed with new perspective. Sometimes the reason certain evidence has such a high value is because it can lead to finding more evidence. You may be missing a huge piece of the puzzle. Cool chocolate, bad blue raspberry, awesome apple, power plum, so strawberry. What even is an elderberry everywhere? Radical new flavors, because it's no longer the 1920s. Okay. Okay. Carl. Carl Rootree died in a recent plane crash along with his wife, Brenda Rootree, and their daughters, the Rootree sisters. He was the president of the Rootree Candy Company as well as the clothing company Root, which he founded with his wife. There is a short press release that the Root Candy Company released today to news organizations. Let's do this. Okay. So his name is Carl. His occupation is CEO, president. Oh. I don't know this. I don't know. Okay. It is with a heavy heart that we mourn the loss of Carl, Brenda, the Rootree sisters, and the other employees that perished in the terrible tragedy. The entire Rootree family is in shock and requesting privacy at this time. As the head of our company, Carl was an incredible man and unmatched leader. Filling his absence will be difficult and may take considerable time. In the interim, we hope that you join us in looking back fondly on Carl and his family's triumphs and accomplishments. They go on to list some of those accomplishments. One of them seems relevant. Like his great-grandfather, Carl earned the highly prestigious Watchman of the Year. Copy that. Boop. Okay. Yeah, let's search for Watchman of the Year. Business Watch magazine is a magazine focused on companies, CEOs, and the economy. They have been around for over 100 years in one form or another and will often write about major changes in management at famous companies. Every year they offer an award to a prominent businessman who has furthered the field. They call this the Watchman of the Year. You find through a few searches that 2 Roottrees have been featured as Watchman of the Year: Elias Rootree and Carl Rootree. Business Watch does not host any online archives of any site you can find, and you may be able to search individual articles and issues through your periodical search. Oh. Voted Watchman of the Year in 1987. Oh, okay. So now I have like a picture of him, hopefully. And then what's this other? What is Elias Rootree was awarded Watchman of the Year in 1936 for his accomplishment in rolling out 5 pieces to a global market. Okay. Yeah, great-grandfather. Okay. I guess we can maybe get some photos. Elias Roottrees was voted Watchman of the Year by Business Watch in 1936, and a painting of him appears on the cover. The magazine says he was voted Watchman of the Year specifically to recognize the global rollout of 5 pieces. Inside the article is a timeline of 5 pieces. 1908, Elias forms the Roottrees Candy Company after marrying his wife, who inherited a maple farm. During the period before 5 pieces, the company is barely profitable. 1909, Elias has a daughter, the first of 5 children, 4 more to follow, leaving 2. Elias invents 5 peaches. Each of the 5 flavors is chosen based on the initials of his 5 children, 1 flavor per child. 5 pieces are sold in some Pittsburgh markets. 5 pieces are rolled out to New England. New recipe and flavor is finalized, and candy begins nationwide distribution in department stores. The Roottrees Candy Company purchases every available maple farm in Pennsylvania. Jesus. With the help of his son, Elias Roottrees Jr.'s architecture firm, a new industrialized factory and warehouse are built in Boulder County. Production is tripled and worldwide begins. There's also a what's next section that claims Elias is going to pivot to ensuring his company's legacy and that the Roottrees Candy Company remains a family business. He plans to do this with a Clanced Trust. I don't know what that means. Clanced. A Clanced Trust is a highly unusual corporate arrangement named after Clancy Edward Roottrees, who was Elias's son and the Roottrees Candy Company's head lawyer at the time. Okay. Due to its unique nature, it's often brought up in online discussions about financial matters and inheritance as an oddity. Okay. This is the second gen. And my mouse is gonna die. Come here. There we go. Actually. Okay. One favorite per child. Okay. This is called Roottrees. Voted Watchman of the Year in 1987. A photo of him appears on the cover. According to the cover, Business Watch is a magazine for and about corporate leaders and has ongoing coverage of who's who. Carl was chosen not for his work at Roottrees Candy, but rather the clothing company Root. Here's a brief history. Before they married, Carl's wife Brenda was a fashion consultant. When Raina was born, Brenda retired to become a stay-at-home mom. Looking for a creative outlet, she spent any free time she had at the sewing machine. Raina's new clothes were a hit with other parents, including Carl's cousin, Jim Roottrees, a notable singer who had a young daughter around the same age as Raina. By 1982, Brenda's patterns were being copied by other brands. Seeing the demand, Carl and his second cousin, Ernie Jr., who had just become president of Roottrees at the time, spearheaded Root. Other blood relatives who have a say in the company's finances refused to fund anything other than candy, so Carl personally spent his entire inheritance to bankroll the clothing company. When the profits began to appear, however, the rest of the family changed their tune. They repaid his investment, and now Root exists under the umbrella of the candy company, and they all benefit. Per tradition, or perhaps superstition, new clothes always debuted the way the first ones did. Raina became their catalog's cover model. As she grew, the product line expanded to older kids as well. Her younger sisters were then recruited to show off the baby clothes. Yikes. Carl was voted Watchman of the Year primarily for his personal gamble and the ensuing Okay. So he is a president. We don't know which one, but he is a president. Ernie Jr. was a president at some point. Okay. So I have a picture of Carl and his grandfather, his great-grandfather. No, father, grandfather, great-grandfather. We'll say that for now. Let's see. With this. Oh, okay. The company mandates that a fixed percentage of its profits are split every quarter amongst bank accounts representing each direct relative of Elias and Gwyneth. An account is created for each blood relative at birth and first accessible when they reach 18. The actual numbers have never fully been disclosed to the public, but due to the ever-increasing success of the company, it is a significant amount of money. The Clancid Trust is known for being essentially impossible to get around due to many checks and balances written into it. Still, there have been a few situations in which family members have tried to forcibly remove another member from the trust. Most details online are pretty vague since the matters are handled internally. The only information discovered is from a university law school in which apparently a guest lecturer talked about the Roottrees versus RR in 1994. While looking into the Clancid Trust, you often find mentions to the 5-piece guarantee, which went into effect at the same time. Let's make a miscellaneous page. Let's look into this 5-piece guarantee. The 5-piece guarantee, in combination with the Clancid Trust, was Elias Roottree's attempt to ensure that the Roottree Candy Company would remain a family business for eternity. In isolation and somewhat baffling, the yearly salary of Roottree's president is always locked to the price of a single pack of 5 pieces. When the 5-piece guarantee went into effect, there was a 25 cents a year. Now it is closer to $4. Combined with the Clancid Trust, so they make $4 a year. Combined with the Clancid Trust, however, it makes a bit more sense. Elias wanted to ensure that only his direct relatives could afford to be president, and he knew that because their passive income was tied to the profits of the company, they would have a vested interest in keeping the company as profitable and successful as possible. Whether or not this was smart or successful is widely debated online and in person by economics enthusiasts of all levels of expertise. That's very interesting. I guess let's look. What's her name? Marina? Oh, did I spell catalog wrong? Okay. Let's look up Roottrees. Mixed in with the recent news of the plane crash, there are a lot of results for Rootree's extremely popular candy products. Their official website is unstable due to the traffic it has been receiving. However, you find a direct link to the history section that manages to work momentarily. Roottrees Candy Company was founded by Elias Roottrees shortly after he married his wife, Gwyneth, whose family owned a small farm called the Anderson Maple Farm. So let's try Gwyneth Anderson. For reasons that aren't explained on the page, it has no CEO and no stockholders. Instead, it's run by a president with input and votes from extended family. The site does mention that every president has been a direct descendant of Elias and Gwyneth, including Carl, who, despite his death, is listed as the current president. Well, then he's got to be the last one. So let's do that. The product that put them on the map were 5 pieces, maple candies with 5 different flavors that are dipped in a crispy, crackly candy coating. Since then, they have branched out into countless other products, all of which incorporate the maple in some way. Their sister company, simply titled Root, specializes in children's clothing. Their primary models are the Roottrees sisters. Okay, let's look at Anderson Maple. The first Anderson Maple Farm. There are a few pictures, including a famous picture of Elias and Gwyneth. Let's get that. This is a famous picture of Elias and Gwyneth. It was taken in 1909 after they founded the Roottrees Candy Company, but before it was a success. From what you found searching the internet, it seems quite difficult to find any site about Elias or Gwyneth that isn't accompanied by this picture. Elias and Gwyneth are on the notable Roottrees list in your evidence, and they will be marked on the chart with a star. Okay. Gwyneth. Okay. Before marrying Elias, Gwyneth Roottrees was Gwyneth Anderson. She had no brothers, so as the oldest sister, she was to inherit the Anderson Maple Farm so long as she married. Before Elias took over, the farm produced only syrup. It was supposedly Elias's idea to create candy instead. Their success was not immediate until they decided to combine the maple with other flavors. This led to 5 pieces, which are still around in stores today. Though the Roottrees Candy Company expanded well beyond their original farm, it has been preserved as a tourist attraction. According to their website, there are still daily demonstrations and educational tours that show off many turn-of-the-century appliances that Gwyneth would have used as a housewife in the early 1900s. Let's look up her. The first Anderson. Okay. That's all we got. Housewife. Sweet. White Brenda. Sweet. Give me extra photos. You can open this after the whole family tree has been filled in. 2 names that must be typed in manually. Clues are obscure, have been intentionally hidden, and may even require some leaps. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children. Family trees use surnames from birth, even if the person changed their name. Always use their most recent occupation. There is a lot to do here. I want 5 pieces. What? From marketing materials and various candy history sites, you learn that 5 pieces are the iconic candy sold by the Roottrees Candy Company. Although they are no longer the company's only popular product, they still sell well to this day. 5 pieces are small, colorful, shell-coated maple candies that, since the late 1920s, have been pressed into the shape of a maple leaf, although they usually have one flavor that looks more like a berry. As the tastes have changed over the years, so have the 5 flavors, but the shape and combination with maple have been consistent. There is also a history of print advertising website that claims to have 5 pieces advertisement scanned from a book called The Sweet History of Candy Volume 2 by Charles Lee. Fortunately, when you click through their website, it seems like all their image links are broken. If only I could Google search at the public library. Sweet. This is part of a book series about all things candy in the modern world. Starts in 1925, continues onward to chronicle the rise of mass production and global distribution. The book ends with a look into the future of candy as envisioned by experts in 1985. With the addition of hindsight, you can clearly see that they got pretty much everything wrong. Includes some print advertisements. You find a newspaper ad for 5 pieces from the 1930s. What about volume 1? Okay. This is a book about all things candy throughout history. It starts with historical accounts dating back to the ancient Egyptians and chronicles candy throughout the year 1924. It includes some print advertisements from companies you've heard of, including an extremely early newspaper ad for 5 pieces that Charles Lee included due to a major misprint. What about volume 3? Nope. Okay. These are some people to try. Okay. This advertisement in the Sweet History of Candy Volume 2 from 1928 states that the flavors are inspired by their children, and the order is grape, elderberry, cinnamon, melon, and miracleberry. It's a miracle, a modern candy for a modern society. Roottrees 5 pieces contain 5 different maple-infused flavors. The Roottrees are a proud family business, and our flavors are inspired by our children. G is for grape, E is for elderberry, CE is for cinnamon extract, M is for melon, and introducing miracleberry. Miracleberry is a burst of 5 beautiful blossoming blended berries. Try it today. Okay. Okay. Jr. Clancy Edward. Okay. Which means there's a G girl, and then we got Elias Jr., architect. So, unknown girl. We don't have a picture, but we know his name is Elias Jr. And he was an architect, potentially. And then, what's the other dumb name? Cinnamon extract, Clancy Edward. And he was a lawyer. Whoops. Clancy Edward was a lawyer. Okay. Alright. You found this advertisement in the Sweet History of Candy Volume 1. It's from 1924, 2 years after the debut. The author included it because of the spelling error in the word available. It states that the flavors are inspired by their children: grape, elderberry, egg cream, cinnamon extract, melon. Huh. This is from 1924. What was the other one? It's 1928. Did they have a dead kid then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where are my notables? Is that here? Yeah. Okay. Gwyn Roottrees. Find some information on our website about old films that are not yet available on VHS. The site is not very well organized and the search is broken, but you can get to individual pages from your search engine. Gwyn Roottrees is a somewhat well-known actress who was active in the 1950s. She often appeared in tabloids, especially around the time of her highly publicized divorce. Her biggest role was in the minor hit movie Guys Like Us. She left Hollywood after the flop of Christmas Mission. There's a widely circulated picture of Gwyn from behind the scenes on one of her movies, which you've added to evidence. Did you know Gwyn was the granddaughter of Elias Roottrees, the founder of Roottrees Candy? She shouldn't have been named Roottrees, but her father took her mother's famous name, which was quite rare in those days. Okay. So Gwyn is the granddaughter. So not his kid. We're talking 3rd gen. Oops. This photo is a widely circulated photo of Gwyn Roottrees. You have seen it on multiple websites about old films. Gwyn Roottrees is on the notable Roottrees list in your evidence. She will be marked on the chart with a star. Okay. So... one of these photos. Let's do this. You find some information on a website about old films. Guys Like Us is a 1953 film in which two secretaries cut their hair short and pose as businessmen to get ahead in life until one of them falls in love with their client and hilarity ensues. Gwyn Roottrees, Leslie Florence, and Harrison Lane. The title is a play on words, as it can be read that the two women are men similar to other men, or that men are fond of them. Cool. Christmas Mission. Christmas Mission is on a page called Flops. It is a war movie about World War I, released in 1955. It received poor reviews and lost the studio money. Gwyn Roottrees had a role as a soldier's wife who wrote him letters from home. You find no additional relevant information. The movie was marketed as an incredible true story, but no record of the events has ever been found. Okay. I want this. Let's look at these people. Leslie Florence was Gwyn Roottrees' co-star in Guys Like Us. Not a whole lot. Who's the other schmuck? Harrison Lane. Harrison Lane was a television actor with a major role in Guys Like Us and some other films. His largest role before Guys Like Us was as the villain in the first season of Western Frontiers. Due to the popularity of Guys Like Us, the studio brought Lane back to play the villain's twin brother, this time as a hero, joining the protagonist. Western Frontiers has no connection to the Roottrees. Harrison Lane seems to be a dead end. Oh, Harrison Lane married his high school sweetheart after they reunited at a movie premiere. Can I? Let's look up Elias Roottrees Jr. Elias Roottrees Jr.'s name is listed on a website about historical buildings in Butler County. He's listed online alongside an old residence that has been preserved called Hunchtop House. You'd have to find more about information about the villain and the building, but come up empty. Okay. Let's look at Butler County. Butler County is located outside of Pittsburgh. While the Roottrees Candy Company now has its headquarters in the city, the company began in a small town, on a small farm within Butler County limits, and the area has a lot of history with the family. The Butler County Times is presumably a local paper there, and there are likely articles from over the years involving the Roottrees family and those adjacent to them. It's been automatically added. A video game called The Roottrees Are Dead was once set in Butler County. Turns out the creator never lived in or near Butler County or had any connection. Okay. So let's look at Butler County Times. Let's look at the first guy first. Elias Roottrees. Quite often, almost everything I find are the same things I found. Okay. How else am I not hearing this? Not mentioned. What was her last name? Anderson. Okay. Anderson Maple Farm. The Butler County Times has had consistent ads for tours and demonstrations of the first Anderson Maple Farm for a very long time. The farm also appears every so often in a section about things to do. It seems like twice each summer, the Roottrees Candy Company's current head of farming, Mrs. Kim Cattrall, returns to Butler County to demonstrate how 5 pieces were made at the beginning of the century. The demonstration provides free samples of the original 5 flavors. They cost quite a lot to attend and sell out every time, so the Butler County Times recommends getting tickets the moment they go on sale. The ads and blurbs do not have any other relevant information to help with your search. However, you do learn that the farm offers discounts on Tuesdays. Okay. The small feature details a building that his firm worked on. Elias Jr. was Elias's oldest son. Hunch Top House seems unrelated. Let's just double check. Okay. Let's look up the other kid. Clancy Edward. Clancy. Bell. Okay. The Clanson Trust was mentioned many times at Business Watch. More results from the 40s and 50s, but occasionally more references creep in. From context, it's clear that it allows the entire Roottrees family to earn money based on the profits of the company. The first article you can find from 43 mentions that the infallible legal aspects of it were designed by Clancy Edward Roottrees to secure the future of his father's famous name. No, I don't need it. Okay. You find information on a website about strange historical facts. Aloysius Aaron Roottrees, aka Red, was an appointed judge and politician who earned his nickname ironically because he was the ambassador to Ireland for only about 6 days. Let's see. He served what some people contend as the shortest term in history. A few days after he was appointed, he was heard disparaging his position and the Irish people. Yikes. When he then tried to run for Senate, he claimed to be related to the Roottrees Candy Company in a newspaper ad, but it came out that the last name was merely a coincidence and he was defeated in a landslide. Okay. So he's a red herring. Okay, something. Oh. There's a sensationalist headline from 1932. Red Roottrees Rally racket revealed. Raleigh. The article mentions a man named Aloysius Aaron Roottrees who was running for office in Raleigh, North Carolina. At a campaign event, he claimed to be related to the Roottrees and promised free 5 pieces on election day to all who could prove they voted. Within less than a day, it came out that his last name was a coincidence and that he had no such power to offer free candy. Okay. Okay. Gem root tree. Oh. James Roottrees is a singer who sings in the duo Jim and Diamond with his wife, Diamond LaRue. Wasn't there a cousin? Oh, notable singer. Okay. James Roottrees is a singer who sings in the duo Jim and Diamond with his wife, Diamond LaRue. The duo, according to sources you find, is considered a one-hit wonder due to the disco song Rollin' On Down to the City. Oops. Although Jim writes the majority of songs, plays guitar, and often sings, Diamond is considered by fans to be the band's lead singer. The band never had another hit, but it has its fans, who refer to themselves as Diamond's Dazzlers. The rest of their music is more folksy and acoustic than the one song they're known for. Jim and Diamond have continued to release music through the 80s and early 90s. Other albums you find mentioned are Cherry Tree and Sound of Laughter. Jim has become a bit of a recluse. He hasn't made an appearance since 96. Isn't it 90? No, 98. Okay. Let's look up these things. Okay. An album released in 1989. Can't find a picture of the cover. It doesn't appear to have been very successful, and reviews seem middling. Some basic liner notes exist on a Jim Roottrees fan page, and it states that the lyrics and guitar are credited to Jim Roottrees, and the vocals are credited to Diamond LaRue. Diamond. Great. An album by Jim and Diamond released in 1995. It wasn't professionally reviewed, though die-hard fans of Jim and Diamond online say it was a return to form. The CD was apparently so hard to find in stores that some fans have resorted to selling cassette bootlegs of it. There's a music commerce website that claims to sell the album, but it's sold out at the moment. You can also find a short sample of one of the songs called Sun. You add it to your evidence. Okay. Great-grandson of Elias Roottrees. Rolling on down to the city was barely a top 20 hit for a few weeks in 1979. According to the liner notes, it satirizes how a part of society was content to remain indifferent to the economic inflation and civil unrest in the Middle East, unless pop culture tricked them into caring. Somewhat ironically, listeners didn't seem to pay attention to the lyrics enough to trick them into caring. Instead, most of its play is from roller discos. Because it was such a product of its time, it doesn't get much play anymore, even on stations that play oldies. Maybe that's why you've never heard of it before now. This image is from an auction for a sealed copy. It has a sticker on that says, "Only the great-grandson of Elias Roottrees could make disco this sweet." It's credited to Peter Janowitz from MMM. Music and lyrics by Jim Roottrees, vocals by Jim Roottrees and Diamond LaRue. Jim Roottrees on the notable list. Interesting. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Good song.
Saturday night and you're quite a sight. The world might be burning, but I'm feeling right. Making ends meet, so they rent and we can't afford gas, so we skate in the streets. Guys all rush to say that I'm pretty. Ladies blush and find me so witty. They're out of luck tonight, what a pity. We're rolling, rolling, rolling on down to the city.
Okay. I'm tired of that. Cherry Tree is an album by Jim and Diamond, and one of the songs is called Sun. The website you found it on did not have a full version. We managed to find a short preview of the song's chorus. Jim sings the following.
There blazed a spark of light that ever brightly shone. From her starting days, imparting wisdom to conquer life unknown. Though someday she'd depart in part, I'd never be alone. In my heart I'll always be the son of...
Be the son of who? Okay. One Roottrees. Lauren Roottrees, a distant relative of the Roottrees sisters, is known for her book, A Life Between Wars. According to a website about famous authors in the early 1960s, Lauren released a few romance novels under her married name, Lauren Rafferty, to little fanfare. Okay, so she is not the Roottrees. When her publisher learned she had been keeping diaries about her famous family, they insisted she release them under her original name, Lauren Roottrees, to take advantage of her family's notoriety. The selection of diary entries released in 1965 as A Life Between Wars spans from the untimely death of her husband in World War II to coping to the post-war world as a young widow and mother, as well as her perspectives on changing times and socialites all the way through the entry into Vietnam. While the content is not considered particularly relevant to modern audiences, it was found new life in an exercise in high school English classes to show an evolution in writing style and for a look into life in previous generations. After the success of her diaries, her publisher re-released her romance novels under the name Lauren Roottrees. This included Romance in Court, which gained popularity. She followed the re-release up by writing 2 new sequels, creating what fans refer to as the Court Jester series. We find no recent details about Lauren, though she is listed as retired. Okay. So her husband died in World War II. Okay. Romance in Court is a book by Lauren Roottrees. It is the first and most famous of a series of 3 books, often called the Court Jester series. All 3 books in the series are about different romances, but told via the same narrator. Probably surmise the narrator's profession. The 2 other books are called Return to Court and New Romance in Court. The books had some popularity when they were released in the late 60s. Okay. Let's try and get these 6 and then maybe we'll call it Romance in Court. Return to Court. New Romance in Court. New Jester series. Okay. Ooh, no hints, no hints. Try Lauren Roottrees. The first one, the big book. Perch. This book is occasionally taught in schools. You even find a hardcover edition that has a full-page, high-quality pictures. Sweet. Wow. Dang. Romance in Court is the first one. A romance novel by Lauren Roottrees. The About the Author blurb mentions she had the inspiration from one of her brother Clancy's lectures on the Middle Ages. Okay. No. Okay. Mentioned she had inspiration from one of her brother Clancy's lectures and no romance in court. Lauren returns to the Middle Ages in the last chapter of the Court series. Her brother Clancy. We get it. So let's look. Clancy Rafferty. Oops. Got a lot of evidence now. Okay. Notes and observations made while skimming through her diary pages. It's published in 1965, consists of diary entries from 1940 to 1965. The most important event, much of the diary involved around is the loss of her husband, Jacob Roottrees. Notes. Jacob died in the final months of World War II while Lauren was pregnant. This left her to raise her son, Clark, alone. By scanning the pages of the diary, you glean the following. She was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth. I'm going to make my own page for her. Graffiti. Yeah. After the success. Thanks. So, it. Okay. Done. Oh, okay. Great, great, great. Save. I want field. Granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Oh, her married name, not Nay. That's the fucking problem there. So her husband isn't. I didn't know. Jacob. So her son will be named Clark Rafferty. Okay. So let's see if we can put her on the map. We got Elias. We're saying that this is likely. You can't play her quite yet. But she's 3rd gen. Okay. Okay. Let's try looking at Jacob Rafferty. So I think we've looked at this. Yeah, I have done. Jacob. Oh. No. Few fan sites for the band Jim and Diamond seem to mention that he used to make music with Clark Rafferty. They mention an album called These Times. Jim Tree. Okay. It's clear from the context that the Roottrees have internal shorthand names for the different generations of their families. Lauren uses them often. 5 pieces. The first generation of children were by Gwyneth and Elias. Lauren's father was of this generation. The next generation is Lauren's generation. The free spirits, including her son. So the second gen are the 5 pieces. Her gen. An entry entitled Complaints from Lauren Roottree's diary, written in 1953. This entry seems to be focused specifically on one of Lauren's family members, Gwen. Everyone has something to complain about. Gwen, as an only child, complained of loneliness. I told her that being expected to watch after 3 younger brothers didn't feel like a blessing, but it fell on deaf ears. So Lauren has 3 younger brothers. And Gwen is an only child. So not them, not them. This has gotta be Gwen. So this one is okay. His name is Clark. Okay. Sweet. Booyah. Yeah, and this
You're
might be a
on a
good
roll.
stopping point.
I'll try to keep that momentum going. Carl's office was a mess, thanks to some burst pipes.
Oh, good.
But I unearthed a photo from the 1970s Roottrees reunion. I also found some important-looking papers. You've traced 9 blood relatives so far. I'll have more to share after you find 9 more.
9 more. Jesus Christo. Okay. Zoom out. More zoom out. Yeah, I think this is a good stopping point. Got that all locked in. A lot of leads to go on next time. Yeah. Thanks for watching if you watched. And I'll probably post it on YouTube at some point. But thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time. Bye!